and let us all do we can to build a better future.
Boy, oh boy, mainstream media sure likes to taunt progressives, but the thing is, we have progressive legislators that have given them all the political ammunition in the world to be taunted at. Look, I said this on yesterday's live stream. That's right, I did a live stream on Thanksgiving. That's right. And in it, I talked about how the GOP is getting ready to do attack ads towards Democrats because they're going to have a tax break for the rich in this Build Back Better bill. So here's this segment from mainstream media, also known as MSDNC. Again, huge shout out to Case Study QB. Be sure to follow him on Twitter and support his YouTube channel and Odyssey channel. And be sure to check out his work for the People's Gauntlet. Look, this taunting by mainstream media, it sucks. I just wish we had progressive lawmakers that actually did push back. But, you know, they decided to give the Biden-Harris administration an A+ and say they exceeded expectations. And when you constantly grovel to the establishment and not push back at the establishment, you're going to be walked all over. And then, of course, mainstream media is going to tell you to keep on dreaming. Let's play this first video.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says he wants the Senate to pass the Build Back Better Act by Christmas. This is exactly a month from today. Is that deadline realistic?
It does seem a bit unrealistic considering all of the items on the agenda. But I think whether they actually pass it in December or not, the importance is to keep the momentum up. Everyone knows that the Senate is a graveyard for bills, and for Senator Schumer to make sure that this moves in a timely place, he has to sort of set these unrealistic deadlines to make sure that the Senate actually gets to it. And here's the other thing. For the House, it's important, and for some members in the Senate who are senators who are up for re-election, it's important to kind of pass these more controversial bills. Build Back Better bill isn't universally popular within the Democratic Party, not in an election year, and that's 2022. So they really do have a very short timeline politically, and also they need to make sure that they keep this bill moving and it doesn't end up dying while the left of the party, Bernie Sanders, fights with the right of the party, Joe Manchin and Sinema. And also, I think the progressives learned a lesson with the first iteration of Build Back Better going through the House, that the longer you wait, the more likely and the more you fight for what you want, actually, sometimes it can backfire and you end up getting a smaller bill.
Is there or are there conversations right now about getting all of this on the front burner?
Absolutely, there are. But I mean, at the same time, like, this is a huge bill to be negotiating. You have Sinema already saying that she's not really happy with what's in the House bill. And she wants.
Right here, we hear the fact. Oh, hold on, we got a little echo going on. Right here, we're seeing the fact that, again, corporate media mentioned Sinema and how she's still not satisfied with the Build Back Better bill. Now, the thing is, I don't want this bill to pass at all, period. Now, I know that might offend Vote Blue no matter who, but let's look at the main fact, the main issue of this Build Back Better bill. You know, it originally started at $7 trillion, then $6 trillion, then the $4 trillion, then the 3.5, then the 1.75, and now the $1 trillion. And what's in there for working class Americans? Absolutely nothing. Just scraps. Just pieces of scrap at this point. So if we're going to fight, if we're going to actually, look at something, the progressives need to drop the Build Back Better like it's a hot potato. There's nothing that's going to make Manchin or Sinema happy. There's nothing that's going to make anyone happy in this bill. And again, there's a huge benefit. There's a big tax cut for the rich. The rich are going to be okay. The rich are going to be enjoying everything. The rich are going to be basically being taken care of. You see, the progressives, especially the lawmakers in the House and Senate, they had a chance to really fight back. They could have done something to stand up against the Democratic establishment, hold Biden-Harris's feet to the fire, but they didn't. And because of their inaction, we're hearing corporate media saying, well, you got to keep on dreaming. You got to be more pragmatic. You can't do this. You can't do that. So when we ask our progressive lawmakers to do more, they're saying, no, we just don't have enough. Maybe you need to vote in more Democrats. And that's where I go back to saying, I'm going to support third parties. Progressive Democrats, I had hope for you in 2018 and going forward. That's when we were still on radio. My goodness, if I could go back in time and say, hey, be prepared for disappointment, they're not going to raise the ruckus, and they're going to be taunted and walked all over by mainstream media, I would have been shocked. But after seeing this, and seeing every inaction, every misstep that the progressive Democrats have taken, all to please the Democratic establishment, We got to look at creating a movement without relying on the political parties, be it Democrat or Republican. Let's play the rest of this video.
Wants to work more closely with the White House. You have Bernie Sanders saying he wants to shore up Medicare and other, social spending programs. So essentially, they're not exactly all in alignment right now. It takes time. There's only a few weeks before the Senate goes out of session. But you have to create these artificial deadlines to make sure that people are moving and that they don't stagnate and that, public opinion changes while they're negotiating.
Okay, so there we go. Progressives, if you want to have a fight right now, don't support this Build Back Better bill. Don't put your name to it, and start talking about actually building a movement outside the Democratic establishment. Now, I don't think we're going to get that, unfortunately, and so it's up to the people. Look, was forced to vote for Medicare for All that was hosted by Jimmy Dore, Breonna Joy Gray, Cornel West, Justin Jackson, so many other heroic individuals. 100,000 plus people attended that town hall, forced to vote for Medicare for All. Then there was the March for Medicare for All. And then there was the General Strike Summit, that 3-day summit where so many activists and organizers and everyone else that's involved for a better future through the Progressive Independent Media Network were there speaking about what we have to do to continue on with the general strike and why it's needed. And this is something that could impact everyone, no matter what your political ideology is, because at the end of the day, the Democratic and Republican establishment only care for their donors. It's a sick system, and of course corporate media will never do anything or even report on stories on how we're all being screwed over. But here's a fact. So long as any kind of progressive movement for change ties itself to any political party in Washington, D.C., be it Democrat or Republican, I know, let me take a step back. A progressive movement attaching itself to the Republican Party, let me take that back. That's not true. But going to the Democratic Party, if progressives keep on tying their cart to the Democratic donkey, it's going to walk us over the cliff. We got to create movements outside Washington, D.C., where it can't be infiltrated by the two-party system. That's how we fight for a better future. It's in the hands of the people. So, 2022 will be very interesting to watch, and I've already seen some of the early attack ads from the Republican establishment towards the Democratic establishment. It's going to be a slaughter. So, good luck, Democrats and progressives in the Democratic Party. You are really going to have to work double time to convince people that people should vote for you.